Well, good morning, guys. Bright and early, cold, 7 o'clock. The sun hasn't quite peeked over the dunes yet, but it's daylight enough to see what I'm up to. So I'm going to make a move. I was hoping to make it out to Popple, but I think the wise choice now is just to head back for Birdsville and back to Inaminka for the car. If I don't get back there tonight, it's sure to rain on Tuesday morning. It looks like it's going to off all the maps I've seen. And then I'll be stuck and I won't be able to get back to the car. So rather than get stuck out here and have to deal with that, I'll just make the move. I made it 60 k's in. You know, it's not what I was hoping for. I was hoping to get to Popples, but you know, rather than get stuck out here, I'll just make a move and head back for home, and we'll save it all for another day perhaps. Anyway, I'll flip you around. The sun peering through. You know, talk about God's country. You can't go wrong out here, guys. And there she is, all packed up, ready to go. You wouldn't even know I camped there. Little fire pit. There's already one there. So beautiful. The colours out here this morning are amazing, guys. You got to get out here. Anyway, I'll see you on the bike. Alright guys, been going for 5 or 10 minutes already this morning, just past the Kangaroo and coming up on a dune here, and this is a camp I passed last night. Someone's out here already this morning. Just doing his morning ritual. Nothing worse than being caught mid-shit, I guess, is there? Anyway, just poking along. Just going a bit slower than I was yesterday. The tyre pressures are down. They obviously cooled off overnight, and I've come down about 3 to 4 psi each. They're slowly starting to creep up as we ride along. Hopefully they'll come back up to roughly where I set them yesterday after I had my flat. But yeah, obviously that pinch flat was caused by pressures being too low and too much weight on the back of the bike, and some of these whoops up here were pretty violent. I've hit one and it squashed that tube, and it actually pinched it on the inside about 2 inches down from the valve stem. So definitely wasn't a puncture through the tyre. It was yeah, me trying to get get down there. Me trying to be I guess make it easier with the lower pressure, because geez, when it was down at that pressure it was digging and it had a heap of drive. But yeah, obviously too risky. I think when I come back I'll probably run ultra heavy tubes rather than just heavy tubes. See if that makes a difference, and then same thing, probably not below, yeah, not too low. Like, I've got rim locks and shit, it should be able to get them down a bit, but obviously the weight, it's just too much for it, unfortunately. And now I've got a nervous sort of 60k ride back to Big Red, and hope that I don't do any more damage to tubes, because the only tube now that I have is a 21-inch front. And I mean, you can put that in the back, but we'll get out of that soft stuff. Feet on the pegs. Oh, we're going down. Oh. Oh. Whew. That makes you work, even just picking it up from there makes you work for it.
Come on. So as I was saying before we were rudely interrupted, just too low, so I forgot my train of thought after that. Just come over that last dune and you see all this laid out before you, you'd hardly believe you're in the desert now. All the trees, and on this obviously there must be water flows through here, or it holds the water after the rain quite well in this clay rather than the sand, and just allows these trees to be here. You know, the further out you get, all you got is the sort of salt bush and that, and there's definitely no big developed trees like these. Timber's scarce and hard to come by. It does burn well, but you can't find much. And I don't know if that's because it's such a popular place now and all the timber's being burnt close to the track, or if it's just that the trees don't produce and drop a lot of wood. Where I'm from, we used to gum trees, they drop a ton of wood, so there just doesn't seem to be, these trees out here don't seem to do that. So 21 k's from Big Red, which must mean I'm right on top of Air Creek. This looks like it here from when I came through yesterday. You can see you want to take it pretty steady in here or you end up in the drink. There you go. Pull up and give us a look. The mighty Air Creek, eh? I watched plenty of videos, and one of Shadow and Nerb and riding with Tom, they came through here, and probably 4 foot of water in the bottom of this, so it's a little bit different to when they came through. I think back in 2019 I think they crossed, and yeah, there's quite a bit of water in there, so she's a lot drier out here than that this year. And all the problem we got with the rain now is to the east of here. And that's that's why I'm calling it, guys. That's why I'm nervous. The roads were shut for a good week before I headed out here. I waited patiently. Some of you might be wondering why did I bother coming out if it was going to rain. Well, I asked and I asked and I asked, and I looked at weather maps, and nothing suggested it was going to rain. And then the day I got out here, the bloke at Inaminka, he's like, hey, you know it's going to rain Tuesday, when are you planning on being back? I said, oh, I probably won't be back till sort of Thursday, maybe Friday. And he goes, oh, good luck. He goes, we're expecting 40 mils, and if we get 40 mils you ain't coming back. So yeah, call it early. I made a few bad decisions on this trip, and I didn't need that one to be one of them, that I get stuck either in the desert or at Mount Dare or anywhere. I don't have the luxury of time to wait out here for weeks on end for the roads to reopen. And even I've just seen the damage to them yesterday, how wet they were. You could see that they'd been wet and how dug up. And even the few patches of mud I hit on the bike, it'd be a hell of a slog to get back on the roads when they're wet. So I know I've been harping on about it, but it just is what it is. That's a pretty bad one coming out of Air Creek. Obviously there's not much run up to it. You come straight out of the creek and into a dune, and quite a big dune at that, so obviously the four-wheel drive's churned that one up a bit. Another one's pretty chopped up. I guess as they get bigger, the four-wheel drives have to work harder. Under 10 k's to go now to Big Red, and this desert portion of this trip will be over. Unfortunately, I was hoping to do a lot more desert riding. It's this little taste of it's just fueled the beast, but I will go as far as to say I think I want to come back with some other people next time. So maybe next year, if it's the year you're looking to do it, give us a shout out. Well, if I can convince the wife to let me come back 2 years in a row, I'll be back out here for sure. was a big one. These are the ones you got to watch out for. That sends the back tyre up in the air and it comes crashing down. And that's where you end up with your flat tyres, guys. As simple as that. So under 5k's to go now, getting close. There she is, guys. Big red. We made it back. On top, so we got an audience. that's it guys, Big Red. Take a couple of photos because I don't know when I'm going to be back out here. Hopefully not too long. Hopefully not too long. Alrighty guys, here we go. From Birdsville, and everyone says the bike riders are crazy. I think they're always in the Willys Jeep. They're about to do a double crossing, and on a bike you know you're going to be uncomfortable, but if you're going to do it in a car, shit, I'd take one with air conditioning and some modern amenities. But more power to them. I hope they have a good crossing. Anyway, there's the park that when we were out here last year was in pieces and not built and fenced off. My son would be devastated to see that now. He was so upset when he couldn't play there last year. He'd been in the car for a few days and all he wanted was a park. We got here, sorry buddy, she's not built yet. Anyway, we're on our way again. Holy heck, this does look like a mission. How are you, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, yourself?
Oh, better than you.
Yeah.
Out past the race club. We're officially on our way to back to Inaminga. You can ignore that sign because that's I believe that's the road to across Walker's Crossing, and we can't go that way, so we go back the way we came. Hopefully I can make Haddon Crossing, or Haddon's Corner rather. I want to at least see one corner posted on this trip, and but things for me are going better than old mate on the in that canter. He's waiting for parts to come up from Adelaide, he said, and they're meant to be here Friday, and he's already been out here a week. So anyway, he didn't seem very stressed about it. He looked like he was capable of putting it all back together himself, and feel for him though. He only got about 70 k's into the desert before a diff failed, and then he had another diff fail, and then he got dragged out and set up camp there. And anyway, it's windy as, and yeah, I'll keep you posted about where we get to. Well guys, we've hit a real spot by the rear. I just picked up this tiny little bit of metal, and it's gone through and pierced the tube in the KTM factory tool for undoing the wheel nut. She broke, so now I've got no way of undoing my axle nut. So either hoping for the next person to come along, might have what I need. I've also got the Roadhouse in Birdsville on the case, and hopefully they'll be able to get out here and give me a hand to fix it. But obviously for remote travelling, I'm going to need something better than that, because now I'm stranded. Anyway guys, I'll get going soon hopefully, and I'll be back. Righto, so we've been out here about an hour now since this thing went flat. I managed to get hold of the Birdsville Roadhouse, and I'm hoping that this car that's down here, you might be able to see him, there he is. I'm hoping he's my
my saviour. If not, I'm hoping he's at least got the tools so I can get the job started. Anyway, the joys of adventure riding. I'll see you soon.
Rightio folks, we're back on the road. I've had old mate coming out from the workshop from Birdsville. It's probably going to cost about $200 or more for his time, but anyway, he's come out with the equipment I needed, and I got the wheel off, and I've chucked the 21-inch front in, and managed to get it inflated, and it seems to be holding pressure for the first 200 yards. I've never really put a 21 in the rear tyre before and had success, so I'm a little bit nervous about how it's going to go. I'm quietly shitting myself. Anyway, I'm riding back to Birdsville. I was only 20 k's out, and the tool, I broke the factory tool, and they tell me they have a shifter available from the hardware store in Birdsville. So I'm gonna go back and pick that shifter up, because if I have another flat, I had no tools to get the axle out again. So I'm going to ride back. I'm going to pick that tool up, the shifter, and we're going to puncture repair the tube that just got the flat, and I'll pack it back in the bag, and I'll head back on my way. So, what an adventure this morning's been, guys. We obviously I left town with plenty of time and all the hope and ambition in the world, and made it 22.5 kilometres out of town, and I picked up a tiny little bit of nail or steel. It looked like the end off a pop rivet, and tyre rapidly deflated after that, unfortunately. And then catastrophic fail of the KTM tool saw me have to call the mechanic out from Birdsville. Luckily I was just within phone range to get that number, and I was able to get a hold of him, and he shot out, and we took the wheel off, and I used my front tube, a spare front tube I had, a 21-inch front tube, and I put that in, and it seems to be holding alright at the right pressure at the moment, so I'm going to continue on with that in the back. I came into town, and unfortunately small towns, people go for lunch and business is shut, so the hardware store was shut for an hour and a half, so I had to wait for them to open, and I managed to pick up a shifter, so if I get another flat I'll be able to get that rear off. And the mechanics workshop, even here's one for you: if they say they don't have tubes, ask them to look upstairs at the top of the staircase. There's boxes of tubes up there. So 21s, 18s and 17s, there's plenty of tubes there to pick from. He might have had 19s, I didn't see a box for those, but plenty of 18s and 21s if you're desperate. Ran me about $50 each, so they were pretty fairly priced considering where we are, and they were heavy duty tubes as well, so stoked to have a couple of those on board. I feel a lot more confident now that if I have any further dramas with this back one, if the back one for some reason, you know, being that 21-inch fails, I still have the opportunity to swap out and put an 18-inch back in it. Hopefully it doesn't come to that. I'm getting a bit tired of changing tyres. I'm just a bit tired in general. It's been a long couple of days, so anyway, we're going to push through, try to make it in Eminga tonight. I don't like my chances. What did that sign just say? It's the next sign. I thought, just looking at that sign, like, hang on, is that open in Eminga via Walker's Crossing? Wrong sign. The next sign's the one that says whether we can go Walker's Crossing or not. that would have been good. It would have been a different road and would have taken a lot of time off, because it's considerably shorter. But no, this way is still closed, so I'm not going to risk going down there and finding out I can't get across Walker's Crossing. That's just more time I haven't got. So yeah, here we go. We're leaving Birdsville out past the racetrack, and we'll turn and head this way towards Windora, and then we'll turn off. I was going to go Haddon's Corner, I just don't have the time now, so I'll go back past Cordillo Downs. And yeah, it was a good ride coming up yesterday, so no doubt I'll enjoy going back the other way just as much. And that's adventure riding, guys. Sometimes it goes right, sometimes it goes horribly wrong, and fortunately, flat tyres, it's not the end of the world, it's just time consuming. Alrighty guys, I just thought I'd turn you back on, because I can see rain. I can actually see rain coming down from those clouds out over there. Now it's hard to gauge how far away they are. I got no idea. They could be a couple of 100 k's away. I've been tossing up in my mind whether I was going to go the Cordillo Downs Road and backtrack the exact way I came up yesterday, or go out to the Haddon Corner and down that way. That rain's kind of made my mind up. I think I have to go back through Cordillo Downs. I just can't risk. It's another 100 odd k's over to the road to go down to Haddon Corner, and you know, if I get over another 100 k's and it's raining over there, well, that's just gonna be a show, eh? And we don't need that. I think the smart decision is I have to go Cordillo Downs. I've just lost too much time today. I was hoping the Haddon Corner Road, I've heard it's a better road and you can go a bit faster. Like, I don't know if it's as good as this road or it's just better quality, but if you know, and I was also hoping to go that way. It is 100 kilometres further, or 80 to 100 k's further, but the last 50 into Inaminka is bitumen. And I was thinking, if it rains down at Inaminka, I could be going in the last 50 k's on bitumen rather than 50 k's on dirt. And the first 50 k's out of Inaminka wasn't brilliant on the Cordillo Downs Road. It was pretty rough, pretty rocky, and I'm going to probably, odds on, be doing it tonight. I don't think I've got time to camp. I just think I'm going to end up getting rained on tonight if I camp, so I think I'm just going to have to push all the way through to Inaminka tonight. Seems like a crazy undertaking. We've still got a bloody long way to go. Alrighty, we're just near the Cordillo Downs turn-off, another 10 k's. I thought I could smell rain. I'm like, why can I smell rain? Well, I've just hit this bit of bitumen and it's wet. There's been rain here. One of these clouds, I'm guessing that one, has rained just here. And there's more coming up behind it. So that cemented it for me. I was going to take a chance and take the way around Haddon Corner, but seeing that's put the wind right up me. I can't afford it. You know, gonna have to shoot down Cordillo Downs and put up with whatever we find, and I have to make it to Inaminka tonight. So it's going to be a long day. Started on the bike at 7 AM. I reckon it's going to be a full 12 hours before I get down there from when I started. Admittedly, 3 hours sort of lost, 3 to 4 hours lost, getting the tyre situation, the tubes sorted. But that is, yeah, to see that the road is wet. Now you can only imagine what that's going to do on these roads that aren't sealed or aren't rock. once that water hits those roads that are clay based, it's going to be game over. Or it's going to be a hell of a muddy ride, and yeah, we can't afford that. So looks like it's back the way we came, which is alright. It was a good ride. I'm just not looking forward to the last hour or so that's going to be in the dark. Anyway, we'll do what we can. Rightio guys, I've just got to the turn off to Cordillo Downs, and you can see by the sky around us, it's building. There's definitely something coming, and that's the way I'm going, towards Inaminka. There's a little bit of blue left, so that's the way I'm hoping to go. Everywhere around me looks bad. Down here you can see what happens when it gets wet. There's obviously been some cattle walk through the mud here, and she's got hella wet. So not what I was hoping for. A lot of this trip has been not what I was hoping for, but you know, you get that when you're out here. You just deal with it, get on with it. No point whinging about it, because you know, I don't get out here to do this very often, and I'm, you know, as much as it's gone wrong, I'm still loving it. Anyway, I'll see you back on the bike. Righto, well, I'm happy to say I've got going again just after the Cordillo Downs turn off, and the direction I'm going is out there into that nice blue spot. Everything behind me, if the camera picks it up, is black, and there's rain coming out of it. So I hope that storm's not travelling at 98 k's an hour and I can keep out in front of it. If it is travelling at 98 k's an hour, I hope it stays an hour or two behind me. And there's fingers crossed, everything here from here out goes smoothly. I'm still packing it that rear tube's going to let go at some point. And anyway, I've got another one to chug into, but that's half an hour. I'm getting better at it. It doesn't take very long anymore to change them, but it's still time. I don't think I'm going to have, A, it's going to be dark before I get there, and B, I don't want that storm catching me. Anyway, the road to the border is pretty boring, so I'll fire you up again in a little bit, eh? Well guys, not what I needed. That rear tyres let go. So, looks like I'm doing another change. Rightio. I am not going to lie, I have never been so happy to see a gate. This means I'm not that far out of Cordillo Downs now. And guys, what an afternoon. Today has just been an absolute shocker. Absolute shocker. Blew a tube. That front tube I had in the back, I blew it right on the Queensland border. So, tyre change number 3 in 2 days, tube change rather, and I've got a proper 18-inch heavy duty in the back now. So, I'm hoping that'll make it through to Inaminka for me. It's holding well. I've done, well, I'm not sure now, but I've done from the border to Cordillo Downs. Someone will be able to tell me, or I'll be able to go back and tell you how far that is at some point. The storm's still chasing me. I've got to get to Inaminka tonight, and I think I've only got maybe an hour's light at best, and another 200 kilometres to go, I think. A bit over 200 kilometres, 210 I think Cordillo Downs was. I can't remember that either. I'm forgetting all the important stuff right now, and as shitty as this little bit of road here looks, it's sort of a bit of hit and miss too, south of Cordillo Downs. Obviously once it gets dark, I'll drop the speed right back to what I feel I can manage and see, and I'll just limp it in as best I can. But if at any point it feels like it's just too dangerous to go on, I'll stop. But I feel like I can do it once it gets proper dark, and that's when I'll have to make the decision. Is my lights good enough? And is it safe enough at, you know, 60, 70 Ks? Even if I got to drop down to bloody 40 Ks, I still want to make it. I had teed up a bed, but I think that's fallen through. They wanted, they said with the weather they're expecting, they're expecting to book the room, and they couldn't hold it for me without payment, so I haven't paid for it. So I doubt that's there. But if I can get back to the car, I've got, you know, swag, or I've got the camping gear on the bike here. But when I get there, I'm going to be too shagged to be bothered setting a tent up. So I think I might just roll the swag out and sleep next to the car, or find a spot that's undercover, because that storm's coming. It's dark all around me, so I might just drag it into the camp kitchen or something and be able to hide there. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. I've got a long way to go yet. Alright, I'll leave you at that for a bit. I'll leave you with those thoughts. And I know I haven't been filming much. There's not much to film along this road, and I've been just busy trying to knock it out as fast as I can, as safely as I can. Alright, when it all goes pear-shaped later, I'll probably get you back. Talk to you then. Alrighty guys, it's officially getting a bit insane, but I've just spent the last sort of 10-15 minutes adjusting my headlights, because they were adjusted too far up. They're probably still a touch far up, but at least I can see now. I couldn't see a thing before. I've got 111 Ks of dirt as far as I can tell, and then I'm off dirt and on bitumen. From where I've just got going now, it's 155 into Inaminka, so I think I can get along at about 80 k an hour depending on how this road is. But I deliberately came out to this one because I was told this road is in better condition, so I'm just going to poke along. I don't recommend riding at night in the outback at all, but I've also been told that the storm's coming in the morning, so I don't want to be up here camping when even if it, you know, even if I get down to 60 kilometers an hour, just so long as I can get back to Inaminka, and then I'll be able to get out of here first thing in the morning. Anyway, there's no point filming all this at night. I'm using about as much concentration as I've got, and I'll see you when I get in Inaminka. Alrighty, been riding now for about sort of 70 kilometers, and God, I'm glad I came this way. The guys that I pulled into Cordillo Downs, and there was some guys actually working in the old shearing shed. I'm not sure what they're up to. They'd finished for the day and they were sitting around having a beer. It was about 5:30, and I said, what's the best way to go? Back down the short route, the Cordillo Downs road, or out, I forget the name of this one, sorry, it's the other one that runs parallel to the border on the Queensland side. And they said, yeah, you'd be mad not to go that one. Look, it's a bit further, and it's a bit better. Well, I don't know if they've been on the other road, because if this is a bit better, I'd hate to know what they think is really better, because this road has been absolutely great so far. I've still got about 35 Ks to go till I hit the bitumen. There we go, hopefully that might make it quieter. 35 Ks to go to hit the bitumen. But so far this road has been really wide. It has narrowed down in a few spots. I think that's where they said was sand dunes. It got a bit sandy. But for the most part, this road's been quite wide, very flat, very few turns, and it got heavily corrugated where you get these rocky sections like I'm just going over now. This one's not corrugated. Some of them are. But for the most part, I've been sitting on 80 to 90 kilometres an hour. I'm going to stretch my fuel range out this way a little bit further, and I'm starting to get that sort of concern about what my fuel range is going to be. I've been doing sums in my head, trying to keep myself awake like that, I guess. And once I get to the bitumen, it's another 50 k's into Birdsville from there. Into Inaminka from there. So I'm not sure. 80 k's. We'll see how far I can get, I guess. So far, I'm at a touch over 400. But I did empty the bladder in. I think that had probably about 7 litres in it. So I should be, by all accounts, I should be good on fuel. But it's still just playing in the back of my mind. And I'm still there, got everything crossed that I make it. Anyway, this is what it's like riding at night in the outback. It's definitely not advised. It's beautiful and terrifying at the same time, and I would not recommend it without good headlights. I had to stop and adjust mine. They were possum shooting a little bit, and I couldn't see a thing. And these new ones, unfortunately, not a quick adjustment. Probably took 15 minutes to adjust, but definitely 15 minutes well spent. Probably the best decision I made this entire trip was to stop and spend 15 minutes just putting the headlights down so I could actually see the road. And I'd even say I could have brought the low beam down a bit lower, because right in front of the bike's still a bit dark, but I'll trade that off for actually being able to see it all. So, whereas before, I couldn't see very much, and it was going to make the ride, 150 k's in the dark, just unbearable. I was down to 60 k's an hour, whereas now I can sit on 90 quite comfortably. I can comfortably see where I'm going. So these headlights they're an LED aftermarket one that goes with this Yankro tower that I'm running, and they weren't cheap. They're a $600 option. But best $600 I spent, because the halogen lights that came with it were pretty poor. They did the job around town, but out here we really need some light. There's no way I'd be riding like this with those headlights. And it's been brought up in a previous video, someone mentioned it, that your headlights are rubbish, and I thought, oh, maybe it's just the way the camera sees it. I thought they were pretty good. And then I've installed these ones later on, and these lights are just amazing. So anyway, this is it. This is me. I'm still travelling. It says 30 k's to my dot point roughly, but that's an as the crow flies measurement. The road's sorta almost straight, so I'm hoping it's only about 30 kilometres more, and I'll be on the bitumen. And then I'm pretty sure it was only about 50 k's worth of bitumen to back into Inaminka. Now I'm probably going to get there and everything's going to be shut. But anyway, I'll figure out what to do when I get there.
Well guys, what a day. I made it back to Inaminka, thankfully. I was a bit worried there for a while that I wasn't going to. Everything that could have gone wrong today did. Unfortunately, I had a really good morning coming out of the desert. I was back in Birdsville about 9 o'clock, and went to the bakery, had a pie and a coffee for brekkie, and was feeling really good, and fueled the bike up. And I got 22.5 k's out of Birdsville, and I picked up a little bit of metal in my rear tyre and blew the tube. Anyway, I thought, oh beauty, I got a tube, I'll change it over and I'll be on my way. And unfortunately my KTM tool, it broke, and that left me stranded. I had no way to fix that. So I managed to get hold of a mechanic from Birdsville. He came out and brought out some tools, and I got a tube in and got it fixed. And that tube was a front tube. It was a 21-inch tube into the 18-inch rear. So I hoped it would hold until I got down here to Inaminka. it failed right on the Queensland South Australian border on the Cordillo Downs Road. Unfortunately, that was at about 4:30, something like that. And anyway, I managed to pick up a new front and rear tube in Birdsville before I left, so out with the tools again, changed the rear, and on my way. And my compressor couldn't quite get enough air in it. I got just over 20 pound into it, and then I ran into a group of campers at the ruins about 10k south of the border, pinched one of their air compressors for a bit, and got it up to pressure that I was happy with. I think it came home about 30 pound in it. I was a bit scared of running pinch flood again, so I put a bit of air in it. Got to Cordillo Downs. It was getting dark. It wasn't dark yet. Some guys having some Arvo beers in the woolshed. They've been doing a bit of work in there, and they suggested don't go down the Cordillo Downs Road in the dark. There'll be cattle and everything, and I'd come up it. I didn't really want to go back that way. I knew it was going to be a bit average. And they suggested go down the other road. I can't remember the name of it for the life of me, but it was the other road that runs through the Queensland side, and that road was brilliant. Could not fault it. Smooth, a little bit corrugated, but on a bike easily doable. Bit of an adjustment at the headlight because my headlight was shooting the possums, and yeah, got about 2 hours. I did 150 or 60 k's in the dark. Now I wouldn't recommend that to anyone, but good headlights, and I was getting along at 80 or 90 k's an hour, dodging a group of donkeys ran across in front of me, and a couple of dingoes and the likes, but nothing too outrageous. Got into Inaminka, managed to secure a room and a pub feed and a beer, and I'm beat. I've been on the bike since 7 AM this morning, and it was about a bit after 8 when I got here, so very long day. I'm going to have a shower and a sleep, and we'll load the bike up tomorrow and head for home. Alright, catches.